Hi, everyone. It is wonderful to see you. My name is Sarah Fitzpatrick, and I am the creator of Bellara Philosophy. I have decided to evolve Bellara onto YouTube and created a series called The Philosophy of Her. What this is going to do is deep dive more in depth into the connection between self care, philosophy, inner healing, feminine power, and philosophy just in general. I am so humbled and just so grateful to be given the opportunity to sit here and to inspire and motivate women every single day in the best possible way that I can. And I am as well also continuing to learn on this journey myself. And this first episode, I just want to brief on more of my testimony, the name behind the brand, and truly the idea and the outcome that I foresee this brand and this philosophy truly being able to create a quiet movement in the world of women. And I am so excited to be here. So I invite you to my first episode. Truly, what had started this journey for myself was the loss of my mom. She was diagnosed with ovarian cancer in 2020, right before COVID hit and right before everything was shut down. And luckily, she was able to have the necessary surgery that she needed at the time. And she was only able to continue doing chemo and treatments throughout 2 years, and she passed in September of 2022. And I am so grateful that I was there the moment that she had passed on. And I am so grateful for my father, who was able to be supportive for that moment and just being just the rock that he has been. And so shout out to Dad. I love you so much. And truly, after losing her and after you lose a loved one, you really start to ask a lot of questions whenever it comes to your purpose. Where are you going? What are you meant to do within your own life? Because whenever you lose someone with such an impact in your life, you lose a really big part of yourself. And I had come to the conclusion that a part of me had disappeared with her as well. And I recall shortly sometime after she had passed, I was having a really rough time. I was ignoring the silence of her not being there, and I just constantly was not making good decisions, and I leaned to alcohol quite a bit and would go to work and come home and have a bit to drink just because I couldn't handle the silence of her being gone and her presence being gone. And I recall this one instance, I had a dream about her and I was in a fog and I was just looking for her, and all of a sudden I came upon this bar and grill type setting, and she was just sitting there peacefully. And I walked up to her and she kind of looked over at me and she looked a little confused and she goes, "What are you doing here?" And I kind of was just like, "I'm just here to make sure you're not alone and you're doing okay and that you're all right and just that you're happy." And she just smiled at me and she's like, "I'm fine. Like, I'm happy. I'm good. I'm not alone." And she kind of sent me on my way after that. I felt as though it was a bit of reassurance for her to let me know that she was doing okay and that she loves me and she's okay. And that was really important for me, and it also changed a lot of my connection to spirituality and self-care because, again, I started asking a lot of questions with the afterlife, with God, with religion, and really deep diving into that side of spirituality along with learning how to take care of myself from the ground up. And I came to realize that self-care starts the moment that you begin to nurture your own soul and your own traumas and your own healing. And you are able to be in charge of that healing for yourself. It may seem like a lot, it may seem overwhelming, especially if you have been through so much. And whenever you have been through so much, it's going to be a lot for you to dig through. But I don't want that to scare you, because at the end, the result is you becoming your most beautiful and authentic self and you being able to stand in your truth with who you are as your own person at your core self. And that is truly what Bellara Philosophy is all about, is choosing yourself to take that step. Another pivotal moment that was life-changing for me and what truly was the catalyst for me to finally put my foot down and finally choose myself first was I had a water bottle that was my mother's that she had obviously left behind, and it became more of a comfort bottle, the ones that people carry around everywhere they go and they have all the stickers and such. Well, I had taken it to work on this one day. We had an event, and unfortunately, I had left it and forgotten it. And whenever I had gotten home, I had realized I had left it. And I had come to the realization that I was still carrying everyone else's needs before my own. And unfortunately, it was at another office that I wasn't regularly at, so I had to wait a few days to go get it. And I recall driving home whenever I did get it, and I remember just talking to my mom, and I just said, "What am I doing? This object was important to you, and you are important to me." And I felt as though that I was ignoring my own mother and ignoring myself just in general. I had truly become so lost with her gone that I didn't realize I was at rock bottom in a way. I then started asking a lot of questions about my future, what I was going to do, what I could do, and what I was capable of accomplishing. My mother had become just such a prominent figure in my life and was such a encourager when it came to me as a person and who I could become and the woman that she knew I could always be. And I forgot that. When you lose that support and you lose that person who is your number one cheerleader in that way, you have to kind of rebuild yourself and figure out who you are as your own person. And that is where my self-care routine and my spirituality kind of awakening really kind of started to intertwine. What I began to do was start to teach myself psychology, philosophy, inner healing, and feminine power, and truly what it all could connect into. And that is where now Bellara Philosophy has now blossomed and become to the point that it now is. And I am just so grateful that I have created something truly out of something that I believed was really important and something that I would be able to help heal the world for women who truly need help and truly need support and love and everything in the world that we have that is so surrounding and so heavy on the energies of fear and loneliness and depression and things like that. And they need to be spoken about. And I understand for some people it may not be, they may not understand that an object can be such a prominent thing for people, but I just want to let people know that even though it's just an object, those things can be very important to people. And things like that, where situations like that happen, can be life-changing for people, especially if they were, or especially if the object was very important. And I just want to make note of that because I'm a very sentimental person, and whenever I am clinging to something very important to me and I lose it, it's a problem. Like I felt so lost without it, and I felt that was just such a wake-up call for me to really take charge of my own life and put my foot down and decide what I wanted to do with my own life and with my own time. One other thing that I would like to touch base on is the name behind the brand. I had decided to name it after my sweet girl, my sweet cat. Her name is Belle. And I really wanted to honor her because she has saved me in so many different ways that are too much to explain quite on this first episode. But one day I will deep dive into it just a little bit more. I have suffered from PTSD as well, along with my grief and healing journey for myself. So I just really wanted to honor her and just incorporate her sweetness and just thank her in a way for saving me in many different ways. But that is where I'm going to end this first episode. I didn't want to bore anyone already just yet, but I am so grateful if you had decided to watch my story and this episode the entire way. So be sure to subscribe. I plan on setting out weekly YouTube videos for this series called The Philosophy of Her. So be sure to keep a lookout. And again, I thank you so much, and I hope you all just have a wonderful and beautiful day.